And we're live. Give me a couple minutes to get set up here. We're going to cover an article, video I saw by Jared Taylor. It's about mandatory black curriculum in New York City schools. And give me 1 second to get set up here, and then we're going to jump right into this article here. This is our second stream, probably the second stream of the day today. And whenever I get started, it seems like my YouTube connection just slows to a crawl. As you can see, we have Jared Taylor up there, and he's going to be discussing the black curriculum in New York City schools, mandatory. And I'll be interested in hear some of your feedback in the chat here. And if you see this video after it's live, I'll be interested in hearing your feedback in the comments. So once again, before we get started here, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and pass this video along to anyone that's interested in, say, New York City public schools and the mandatory black curriculum that they probably will roll out all around the country before you know it. So we're definitely live here. And while I'm getting set up here, I just need to make a couple technical changes in the background here before we get started. And just some YouTube things that you have to do once you go live. Give me a minute. Give me 1 minute. And my internet is always a little slow. Here. Okay, we're good. All right. So here's again an article from a video from Amrin, which is AmericanRenaissance.com. And this is, again, Jared Taylor, and he's discussing a mandatory black curriculum in New York City. I got one more change to make here. Give me one second, guys. Let me update the URL in Streamlabs. There we go. Let me save that. It's all saved here. I think we're good now. I think we're good to go. We're waiting on it to load up. And while that's loading, again, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can also support the channel. You see we have a Streamlab goal here, more or less for our StreamYard fees. And then you can also support the channel, me, John Galt, Portia J, our wonderful editor, HB, Get Crack, and of course, the cantankerous Stanley Cross here. So again, I'm just waiting on my YouTube to load up here in my browser so I can look at your comments here. But let's go ahead and get started. Again, this is Jared Taylor talking about mandatory black curriculum in New York City schools. I'm not sure if you've seen this video or not. Here we go.
I just learned that this year New York City public schools introduced a full pre-kindergarten to 12th grade all-black curriculum. When I looked through this book of detailed lesson plans, I figured it had to be only for black schools in Harlem or the South Bronx. But no, it's mandatory for all students, all 1 million of them in the biggest school district in America. Black students make up only that 24% slice on the right. Hispanics are the big 41% chunk. Asians are 17%, and whites are just 15%. Whites will put up with anything, of course, but Hispanics and Asians must be irritated by all this blackety black. The very name of the curriculum is a joke. Black Studies as the study of the world. What? Sorry, but if Africa disappeared from the planet, most people wouldn't notice. So I guess the school's chancellor, David Banks, who pushed this thing through, was being modest when he said, Black history is American history, period, full stop. The first lesson in pre-kindergarten is learning everyone's name. Teachers should be able to pronounce all names. Practice may be required. These days, that's true. In a pre-K lesson about the 5 senses, students will describe how objects connected to black studies, African and black cultures taste and feel. Still in pre-K, lesson 5 is Juneteenth. Children will make Juneteenth flags and talk about the horrors of slavery. This is a lesson for 4-year-olds, mind you. In kindergarten, students will be introduced to Adinkra symbols. They were used to decorate cloth and pottery. The oldest of these ancient Adinkra symbols dates all the way back to 1817. Beats learning the alphabet. And of course, every kindergartner needs to know about kente cloth. Moving right along to 6th grade, young scholars learn about King Piyi, the great Nubian pharaoh who conquered and ruled Egypt. Here are his warriors, crushing all in their path. Likewise, in 6th grade, students study this article about the white teenager who slaughtered 10 blacks at the Tops supermarket in Buffalo, New York. There's a cheerful 8th grade lesson on the Tulsa race riots in which students get to watch a black-produced, black-narrated video about how awful white people are. Also in 8th grade, there's a whole class on Power to the People, the Black Panther Party's 10-point program. Among its 10 demands, free all black prisoners, autonomy from whites, and the present value of 40 acres and 2 mules. First lesson in the 9th grade is warrior queens, stateswomen, and queen mothers. This is the beginning of a video that is part of a grade 9 lesson on African communications.
12 want you to know I hate you more than you hate me. They really the threat, but that's how they try and portray me.
11th grade, more than half the lessons are on reparations. A typical assignment: lynching, white supremacy, terrorism, and black resilience. In the 12th grade, lesson 4 is called Slavery and the American Economy, where you learn that slavery financed the American economy. But America is capitalist, so it has unemployment, inflation, poverty, and environmental impact, which only socialism will cure. Students will learn which companies profited from slavery and will reflect on what they think should happen to the companies or institutions that benefited from slavery. One reading is this: in order to understand the brutality of American capitalism, you have to start on the plantation. Grade 12, Lesson 5, Black Genius in the Apparel Industry. Major white corporations rely on black creativity to reinvent their brands. Who's a black genius designer? Kanye West, shown here getting an honorary PhD from the Art Institute of Chicago. And on this curriculum goes for 518 black as can be pages. How is this supposed to help students? Here are NAEP achievement scores over the years for New York City, bottom line, orange, New York State, the purple line, and the US, which is the dotted blue line. New York City is at the bottom. Miserable black and Hispanic scores drag down the average. Stop the video and look at their numbers as if...
And so the numbers here, in 4th grade math, for instance, just 11% of black and Hispanic students scored proficiently, compared with 39% of white students and 48% of Asian American students. So they're not even doing very well. In 8th grade math, just 6% of black students were proficient, compared with 12% of Hispanic, 46% of white students, and 58% of those who are Asian American.
If you really needed to. Does anyone, and I mean anyone, really think Adinkra symbols and Juneteenth and King Piyi are going to raise those scores? I guess blacks do. Or maybe they just don't care about the white man's test scores. David Banks, who commissioned this curriculum, is authentically black. Note the African decor. His predecessor, Misha Porter, was also black. But it will be up to Melissa Aviles Ramos, who...
And this is where it gets interesting indeed. And sadly, this is not anti-black. This is what I think is the collision of two different groups all vying for power here. And so this woman here, Melissa Aviles Ramos, is going to be set to put in charge of a very black curriculum where her people, her Hispanic people, Spanish-speaking people, are 40% of the student population.
Took over just last fall to push this thing through. Why should Hispanics, who are almost half of all students, sit still for this guff? Well, it turns out they're going to get their own super-duper Hispanic curriculum. new initiative launched to develop Latin studies curriculum for NYC public schools.
And there it goes. There it is. The grift doesn't. You can't see anything. You saying you can't see the video? Garen, you can't see the video. Let me see what it's looking like on YouTube here. Then, give me 1 second. What the fuck? You can't see anything on YouTube. What? Man, what? You can't see anything, but you can hear me. That's interesting. Okay, you should be able to see. Let me see. Let me see where we are here. Where are we here? I can see it. Looks like it's live here. All right, let me know if you can see it. Let's try this again. My screen is frozen. Oh yeah, I had it on pause for a second. Let me crank it back up here. Let me know if you can hear it. No, it seems to be.
Latin studies? Latinx didn't go over. So I guess high-paid dopes are trying again with Latin. The New York City Council has made a profoundly important and historic investment in Latinidad. Yep, the city has splashed out $3 million to push Latinidad, whatever that is, and I'm sure a stiff dose of it will send Pedro's scores right through the roof.
Are you guys able to see the screen? Is it still frozen? Someone said Latinidad. Latinidad, Garen. Latinidad.
Actually, I'm delighted. Let blacks fill their heads with kente cloth and black geniuses. Let them be as African as possible. Let them disappear into negritude, and let Hispanics disappear into Latinidad. This will drive even more whites out of the public schools, another little step towards total disengagement. Remember the Black Panthers' 10 points? Number 1 was power to determine the destiny of our black community. Go in peace, brothers, and leave us in peace.
That was Jared Taylor, American Renaissance. I was curious to know, I saw this video, I found it interesting that New York City would be implementing a black curriculum, particularly after we've heard so much about, STEM and things like that, is as if they've given up on the STEM. And then the next thing I thought about was this right here. One of the first videos I did when we started this stream was this video. Let me see if I can find it here.
President Trump wants to make America healthy again. Reforming the FDA can help.
And I'm sure I have it here. And yeah, here it is here. And this is one of the first streams I did. And it was actually, you see the picture here. You'll see the picture here. Give me 1 second. I don't know why YouTube is so slow today, but very slow indeed. But you'll see this video came up. It's one of the first videos I did, and you'll see the title of the videos as it slowly loads here. The title of the video.